Welcome to DeWitt 3D. Think it, make it. And welcome, happy Sunday night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It looks like we have a few people on board already. Good evening, Shadow Fang. And I see Jerry, 3D Printing and Painting, Non-Fam, hello. And I see Bob, hello Bob, and Tripod, welcome. And I see Red Light. And I see, that's it. That's all I see online so far. We have 8 viewers, so that'll count, I'm sure. So I hope everybody is doing wonderful, and I hope everybody can hear and see me fine. You should. This might be my first ever live stream without a glitch. Hopefully, we'll see. Sound seems to be going good. And BCK 1000, hello, and welcome. So we are going to kick off tonight where I left off. And Gary, hey Gary, where I left off last week. I've done a little bit of camera reconfiguring here. I finally got my new lights going, so the lighting should be good tonight. I got these really cool bulbs. This was a suggestion from my friend Richard at The First Lair. I got these really cool LED bulbs for the studio lights in here. And these things are much better. They're instant on, no warming up, and the color of the light is beautiful, so that's great. I see Radmaster, hey Radmaster, and Radioactive, good evening. So, where we're going to leave off, and as I say, I've sort of rearranged the cameras a little bit, so I've now got my main camera, which is always my main camera here. I've switched to a different build camera, so I'm going to use this as my build camera because this is going to be basically showing exactly what I'm working on here tonight. I've got the standard overhead camera, and we've got the close-up camera here. One of my favorite cameras is our close-up, and then I've added a second main camera here. This camera is right up over here on my second monitor, and the reason I put this here is so that when I'm working on the build camera right here, my face will be on the main camera, on the second main camera, versus you guys not being able to see me talk. So just a little bit of a rearrangement here, and we'll see what happens. And hey, Maker Viking, how you doing? And we will see how that goes. So if you guys are having any issues hearing me, any issues seeing anything, if I'm overmodulated, undermodulated, just let me know in the chat. I will try and keep a better eye on the chat tonight than I did last time. So with that said, there we go. With that said, I'm going to just sort of switch over here and we'll discuss what we're going to do tonight. And then we'll get on to a couple other things that I'm working on tonight. Like, I know Tripod, you're going to know what these are. But look, oops, let's turn this one over. Got some pretty nice prints going here. And I got some more prints that are finished over here on the Prusa. I've got to pull off, and I've got couple prints here. I've got like a little toy in there to play with. So I've got a few things going on here. So yeah, this is really, really cool. Anyways, so where we're going to start tonight, I'm going to switch over to this camera. So if you remember last week, I had an issue with the, and hopefully this is going to work, because then I can just look up here to see you guys while I'm looking at the chat. So, Dragonfly BMS works awesome on your Sapphire S. Good to hear, Maker Viking. I'm trying to get this working on the Ender 3 V2 here. So, Dan, hello, Dan. Thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. Appreciate everybody that's watching. So, the issue we had was that the nozzle that I took off of this printer, which I've put away now, but the nozzle was basically higher than the cooling fan that actually came on the standard Ender 3 block here. And this was the cooling fan, so this part of the cooling fan here was below the nozzle, or almost equal with the nozzle, and it was knocking the print off as we started to print. So, and the other issue that we had run into was that this thermistor, I guess adapter, if you want to call it, to put the bubble thermistor in. The bubble thermistor wasn't staying in there properly. So all I did for that is I filled this thing with the thermal grease. I picked up a really cool new thermal grease tool, but anyways, And then I use some high temperature silicone seal, which is what you're seeing in the red here. I just use some high temperature silicone seal, and it's almost rubberized to hold that in there, so that should not slip out anymore, and this thermistor should work just fine. I had bought a backup thermistor just in case, but I think this one's going to work just fine. So let's see. Everybody's having a great conversation. That is good. I'm assuming because nobody's complaining that you guys can all hear me fine. So, and according to my little OBS little woo woo, I'm hitting the yellow but not hitting the red. So I probably sound as good and as sexy as ever on this beautiful Valentine's Day. Everybody have a good Valentine's Day, by the way? I hope so. Hope you treated your significant other, if you have one, or even your brother, your sister, your mother, to a really nice Valentine's Day. So I know we had a great Valentine's Day here, and tomorrow is our little one's 5th birthday. You guys have all seen Ethan here. He's the one that says, hit that like button and subscribe. So yeah, he turns 5 tomorrow. It's unbelievable that he's going to be 5 already. So thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you letting me know that. So what I've done here, we're going to get rid of this, parts cooling fan. Whoops. I got to keep this over here because I've got that close-up camera on this screen as well. We're going to get rid of this parts cooling fan here, and we're going to replace it with this part cooling fan, both 24 volt. I found a file on Thingiverse. Where did I put it? I just had it in my hand, right here. So I found a file on Thingiverse. I should get his name, but I'll put a link down to it later. But somebody had designed up this new fan shroud / hot end block or cover, whatever you want to call it. We've got the dual cooling fans on this for the nozzle. We've got the fan mount here for the, that's for the, yeah, sure, I'm having like brain fart here today. That's for the hot end cooling fan to cool off the heat sink. And then over here is where we're going to put the parts cooling fan, which is this 5015. I forget what this is called, this fan. Anyways, this guy's going to sort of sit in here. So, yeah. This will fit on here just nicely. So what's going to happen, and the only thing I don't like about this design, it's a great design. We've got 2 holes here, which we're going to actually bolt on to the plate here with this one and this one. Now the only thing I don't like is really I want to ideally get this hot end put together and on here first, and wired up before I cover everything all up, and I'll get the nozzle all tightened on and everything. But the only thing I don't like, and I may not hook up tonight because it's going to be just too difficult, is this bottom hole here has to go in this hole here. And if you can see what the issue is going to be with this, I cannot get in behind this hole here to put my bolt through without actually taking off this whole roller assembly off of the rail. Which I can do, but then once I put this on, this is on here and it's going to be difficult to get in to work on the hot end. So I'm going to think of a way to rig this up another way, unless this is threaded. I actually never even thought. I never looked. This might be a threaded hole, and all I need to do is screw this in through here. I didn't even look because this is a smaller hole than this, so this may be threaded. Let me double check and see. I should have checked with that first. I see some people are getting some snow. I guess there's a lot of snow going in areas that don't usually get a lot of snow. Let's just see if this is actually threaded here. This is an M3. That is threaded. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so I take back what I said. I love the design of this. Okay, this is a threaded hole. I didn't even think to look and check and see if that was. So that's threaded, so we're going to be okay. Because I can feed a bolt from backside on this one and then just thread this one in through the front. Just make sure I get the right length. Okay, I take that back. My apologies. Yeah, so this should work well. So let's get going and see how this works. It is threaded, Radmaster. Yes, it is. I didn't even think to look at that, and it's kind of obvious that I should have realized that because that hole is much smaller than this hole. So threaded it is, and that's all good. So. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is let's get rid of this sock. And for those who weren't here last week, or if you're watching this for the first time, this is the Phaetus Dragonfly hot end. that I purchased to replace the stock Creality hot end on this Ender 3 V2. This is an all metal hot end. It has a, if you go to the Phaetus site and check out the Dragonfly, you'll see all the features which I discussed in last week's video. It's got some really nice features on it, including a unique heat break in there, made of 2 different metals, and then it's got a conical heat break that goes up into the heat sink, which dissipates the heat more through the heat sink. So it should be an advantageous hot end to put on here. So we will see what happens. So, boom. You like removing the whole pantry to work on it, find it easier. The whole gantry. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to leave it on here and work on it as is for now. I may end up changing my mind, but let's just wait and see. Okay, I sort of rearranged my tools and did a little bit of organizing yesterday and today. We have a holiday here tomorrow here in Alberta. Tomorrow is Family Day. The first Monday in February, first or second Monday, it's got to be the second in February, is a long weekend. It's the Family Day. It's an Alberta holiday. I don't know if it's a holiday in Ontario and other provinces. It's been so long since I've lived in one of those that I'm not sure. Maker Viking, one of your favorite hot ends. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good about this hot end, right? So I'm really excited to try it. Hopefully, well, this week I will get it working. So we're going to start, before I put this on, what I'm going to do, because that sock was a little difficult to put on last week after I had this hot end screwed on. So I think what I'm going to do first and foremost, I'm going to get the heater cartridge and the thermistor in. I'm not even going to worry about the fans for now. I will work on the fans. But I'm going to mount the heater cartridge in. Let me get my little tiny, whiny little grub screw wrench here. Slide that heater cartridge in, kind of pretty much centered there. There we go. Snug that in there. And we will slide in the thermistor. And snuggle up our thermistor here. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hot tighten this hot end. One thing they've done that I really like on this hot end, if you'll notice, there's a sort of like a, this might look better on the close-up camera here, if you look in the top right screen there. So if you notice, there's like a cutout on either side of the hot end. And what they've done that for is the wrench that they give you with it fits perfectly over that cutout, and it's for tightening up the hot end so that you're not going to interfere with your wires or your cables or anything, so that you can hold that snug while you hot tighten your hot end. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to just heat this up before I even put it on and get that hot tightened right away. That way I can put it up here and get the sock put on it right away, and I don't have to worry about struggling with getting the sock around that plate. So let's just heat this up. We'll just do we'll just heat the nozzle up to, they recommend 240. So I'm just going to go to 240 on the nozzle. We will just sort of keep this nozzle kind of hanging out of the way of anything. So I don't, there we go, and I should still be able to touch the heat brake and get my tools on there. I do have a torqued nozzle tightening wrench here. I don't remember where I bought this, but this thing is preset for the proper torque apparently for the nozzle. So, and you can put different ends on it here as well. So it's a handy little tool. So we'll just wait for this to heat up. You designed a hot end mount for the Dragonfly BMS for Teustrus Sapphire S. If anyone needs it, perfect. Awesome. Hey Travis, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Mark, I didn't see you pop in there. Hey Mark, how are you? Holiday out there too? Good. Is it called Family Day in Ontario? I'm not sure. We call it Family Day out here. It's great. It's a welcome holiday in February, because February was one of the longest, coldest months. It's the shortest month, ironically, but because of the how cold it gets in February. It feels like it's a 6-month month. And so they threw a family day holiday in there just to break it up a little bit. So okay, we're up to 226. We're getting pretty warm pretty quick here. This hot end heats up really fast, which is great. And no, I'm not going to burn myself. If anybody out there's wondering, I'm going to be very careful. So, yep. Okay, so we are up to 241. Here we go. So we're going to put this wrench around. Here, let me get on the camera here. So we're going to put this wrench to hold the hot end in place. The block. Oh, it's expanded a bit, so this wrench is actually a little bit tight going on there because of the heat expansion. But there we go. No, so what I'm going to do instead, oh, that wrench is a little bit tight. So I'm going to take my handy dandy pair of pliers here, and we're going to hold it this way. Just like this. And I'm going to take my nozzle torque wrench and we're going to, there we go. Tighten that nozzle right on there. Look at that, just like that. So we've hot tightened that nozzle. So we're going to kill the power and let the nozzle cool off a little bit. Just let it cool off a little bit, although that's going to take a little while. I can probably take a chance and work around it hot. Then you guys are going to laugh at me if I burn myself. But hey, I am here. This is the Sunday Night Comedy Show from DeWitt. Yes. So, tripod, I know you're out there. I finished printing all my pieces today. All my pieces, and I've got in everything. I've got all the hardware and all the electronics in except one thing. I forgot to order my grub screws, so I've got it in my Amazon cart, and I just got to bring those grub screws in. Oops, silly me. See what I just forgot to do already? Here I go. I just talk and talk and talk, and I almost made a little mistake again. Why did I do the hot end tightening off of there so I could get the silicone sock on without any hassles? There we go. So we got the sock on. And I didn't have any failures. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't have any failures, and I'm not rubbing it in, tripod. Just please understand, I'm not rubbing that in at all. But I had no failures, but I did take one of my pieces off of the heat print bed of the Prusa while it was still too hot. I didn't let it cool down enough because I was anxious to see. I was excited to see it. And I actually broke a piece, so I had to reprint one piece. But fortunately, it wasn't a major piece. It was only a 4-hour print. So, only I say, but yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been one of the 14-hour prints. So, wear mechanics gloves and tighten once mounted. I don't have mechanics gloves, but I think I'm going to get away with. I think I'm going to be okay. But I've got that, I got the silicone sock on now. And so we're going to have the hot end on here. Thermistor's on, heater cartridge is in, they're both tightened up. Thermistor cartridge is staying in, which is great, so that high temperature silicone really works well. And I heard about that high temperature silicone. Whose stream was that? I think it was Tim, TH3D stream that I was on, where I heard about that high temperature silicone, the red stuff. So it's good to 450 degrees Celsius, I believe. It's what they use in gaskets and cars and stuff. So pretty awesome. Keep the viewer retention high if I burn myself. So what you're saying is I should burn myself just at least once, just to keep the viewer count up. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Okay, what I'm going to do here first, before I put anything together, is I need to split here. Let me turn this camera a little more this way, because I am working a little more towards me. There we go. I need to take this fan off and put this fan on. So the question I had, which got answered to me today on the First Layers Ask for Help stream, because I just wasn't sure, is, you see the one coming that's on the stock fan is blue and yellow, and the one I bought is black and red, and I thought, okay, which goes to which? So what I was told was blue equals black, and yellow equals red. So kind of makes sense, you know, dark color, light color, dark color, light color. So that's a good way to remember it. Yours was the 24-hour print that failed. Sunlu filament, yes. I just bit the bullet right off the bat and did all of mine in Prusament PET G. And boy, I'll show some pictures after I get this put together, but boy, did it ever print beautiful. And I ran it on 2 separate printers. And I'm pretty much, it's enough with the possibility of a burn. Hey, that's true. It'll keep everybody watching because they know how fumbly and how mistakey I can be. So, mistakey, is that a word? Mistakey? Anyways, what's that close-up camera doing? It's got a close-up here. We'll do a close-up on my face the whole time. Okay, no, we won't. Let's do a close-up of my drawer of screws, just because. But you guys can watch this camera here, because this is where all the action is, and this here to see my reactions on my face. Okay, so we are going to snip dingle this wire here, just for shits and giggles. I'm going to pop off this little Creality fan. I just want to see this tiny little screw in here. There we go. And this tiny little screw here. So really, there we go. So really, this is all there is to the Ender 3 V2 parts cooling fan. That's it, just this tiny little piece here, where the fan goes in here, and this cooling fan would just normally sit just like this, and that's it. So, but it works well. I mean, no complaint about the print on it, but I know that I've heard that the fan on either side of the hot end is better. Okay, and so here's their tiny, puny little fan. So we're going to cut this off. I'm going to keep enough wire on this so I can still use this fan, because it's still a good fan. There's nothing wrong with it. So let me grab my snippers, my little snippers over here. Anybody saying anything about me? I'm not reading everything quick. Prusament is great filament. Yes, it's my favorite. Worst case, the fan runs backwards. Just remove the wire. Yeah, but I don't like to make mistakes, Mark. You know that. They just heat up and burn out. There we go. Yeah, I don't like to make mistakes. So we're going to snip. Ready for this? Now I'm committed. There we go. We have another spare fan to go in my drawer of fans. Look at that. And we're going to leave enough on this. And I'll just leave a little extra. I don't need to have too much extra on this, so I'm thinking right about, I'd rather cut off too much than too little. I always keep these because you never know when you can use a little spare plug around. I just have a box of old wire trimming things. So, Boiler Ram, hello. Or were you here earlier and I already said hello? I'm going to stop saying hello because I keep saying hello to people twice and they're thinking, didn't he see me the first time? But yeah, it's just, I don't know how Joel and those guys keep up with thousands of people or hundreds of people even watching their streams. So I'm going to cheat a little here too. I know you guys would like nothing more than to see me haul out the soldering iron and solder these wires. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to grant that wish tonight. So I have these cool little things I bought a long time ago. Don't even remember where I got them. They're a little chunky, but they're going to work for what I need right now. And basically what they are is it's a simple connector where you stick your 2 wires in here. It has a electric conductive gel in it, and you just basically take some pliers and tweeze them together, and it's basically a quick way to splice 2 wires together. That's all I'm going to do for now. I may clean it up a little bit later, but just for the sake of a live stream and the fact that I am actually not the best soldering person in the world, although you guys would love to see me soldering and burning my fingers, I know, but I'm not going to let that happen tonight. So we're going to strip these wires. Real technical way here. I do have wire strippers somewhere, but this works well for these little tiny wires. Bare those wires and we'll bare these wires. Barely keep up when you have one viewer on your stream. Yeah, no kidding. Well, you get so focused on the work you're doing, especially this. It's easy to keep up once I get this going and starting the test print, but and even building a printer, it's easier to keep up with the viewers and the chat. But in this case, I kind of have to concentrate and focus. Let's see, how's this hot end doing? It's still a bit hot, so there you go. There's my burn. So I'm going to grab my little needle nose guys here. So the way these things work, so we have going blue and black are going to go in together. So I know this is a little rough and some people out there are going to cringe, but cringe away. So we have the blue and black, and then we just poke this into this. As I say, it's got like a photoelectric conductive gel. We put it in here. Then we take our pliers. I'm hoping the needle nose are going to be enough. Actually, I think I'm going to use these ones. These will give me a tighter pinch. And then we just pinch, squeeze. I'll squeeze it in a couple spots. There we go. And those are held in there good and snug. And they are connected. Now we got the yellow and red. It's just much quicker method. It's going to be under the, it's going to be hidden under this anyway, so I really don't care. I may change it over after, but hey, this just saves me some soldering, and it's just a fan wire. It's not a real critical thing. So we're going to do the yellow and red together, and again we squeeze. Boom. I don't remember where I got these. Actually, I do remember where I bought these little blue guys. They were at it's a company in the US that I buy LEDs from called Super Bright LEDs. I'm pretty sure that's where I bought them, right there. So there we go. There is the fan. You'd rather solder tiny wires. Yeah. Crimps are unreliable, but these things, I've used these on tiny wires in many little electronics projects before, and these things have never failed me yet. Famous last words. You watch. You watch. 10 feet in the air. You learn to solder on DB9s for RS-232 control cables. Oh my God. Yeah, I got to learn how to solder properly. I can solder, but I'm not. Let's put it this way: it works, but it's not the prettiest thing in the world. So, okay, so we've taken care of that. So now let's put this on. I just got to determine which size M3 I need. I'm going to guess that I can probably get away with, no, maybe a little longer than this one. So we're going to get away with an M3. This looks like about a 5mm. That's going to be for this bottom one. I'm just going to give it a quick test fit before I commit. Test fit before you commit. Okay, Travis, take care. Thank you for popping in. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you gave me a like. Hopefully you liked a little bit of what I've done so far. But I promise you're going to like the finished product. So, oh, is this not an M3? This is an M2, isn't it? Oh my, is that an M2 hole? Oh, ew. No, that's an M3. Come on. There we go. It's an M3. So I'm just going to make sure that's not going to be too long and interfering with that. No, that's going to be perfect size for that. Perfect. There we go. And coming back through for the top hole here, let me lower this gantry a little bit for you guys here. And let me change this camera angle just slightly here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get rid of the, we don't need the close-up cam right now. Let's see, we're going to put this above this. No, this. Hang on, what's going on with my cameras here? No, wrong one. Not what I wanted. I want this. But I want this to go down. Ah, there we go. So we're just going to get rid of that camera there so that anything I do over here you guys can see. And I'll put my face, whoops, yes, no, not my first time using OBS, but I'm just reaching over here and I'll put my face right down in this corner here. There we go. Now you can kind of see everything I'm doing over here. Magic hands, woohoo. Yeah. And I'm reading the chat. That's what I'm doing if you're wondering. I'm looking up reading the chat. And I can glance over at the camera and eyeball you guys. Okay, enough of that. So let's find, I want to find the right size screw for that. So we're going to need at least a 5mm. I'll go just the one size up here. Okay, we'll pop this through the back here. Okay, we will put this guy. Let's run the heater cables and everything up the side. Now he's done a nice job here with the cutout, so basically the heater cables are going to come up and run up through this cutout here, and which is where the fan's going to basically come up and up through this cutout as well, or up through this cutout as well, and the other one in the back. So it's done a really nice job designing this hot end, this I guess what's this called, a hot end shroud? I don't know, whatever. It's just terminology is all it is. So we'll run those up there. Oops, okay. My cartridge failed. So much for that. Okay, I think we're gonna just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? That's annoying, that silicone did not hold. So what I'm gonna do, because these wires are not gonna get too hot up here, I'm gonna, just for now, I'm gonna zip tie these together, and I have to come up with a different solution. From what I read and researched, that glass probe is supposed to just sit in there. That's going to hold them, that's going to hold that from pulling out. So the glass probe is just supposed to sit in there with that heat conducting gel and work. I don't necessarily know if I like that. I did buy another insertion probe, whatever you want to call it. So I will probably change that probe out eventually, but I just have to go into the firmware and change it to a Type 5 probe. So who tripped over what cables? Did I trip over? Am I still live? Hello? What's going on? Did I cut the stream off? What happened? Just got the stream back. I guess I'm okay. Am I here? Am I live? I don't see myself doing anything on, oh, there we are. Okay. It's from the sounds of it there, you guys lost me for a second, or I lost you. So let's see what happens here. So we got this going up in here, this coming on here, and we got the heater cables coming up top. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to throw a nut on here. I don't even think it needs to be a locking nut. Just going to throw a standard M3 nut on this. I know my hand's in the way here, just give me a second. There we go. So let me get this nut started. There we go, and he's got some nice little squared out holes there for helping tighten these nuts. So I'm just going to run around the back here. The other beautiful thing, the other nice design thing he kept in mind on this is that I can then move it up and down as needed. There we go. Oh, I could have gone with a shorter bolt, but that's okay. We'll just snug that up just a hair there because I'm going to have to move that up and down just to see. So and looks like the thermistor stayed in place there. Good. Yeah, so this is nice because if I loosen this up just a hair, let's see, I got that a little too snug. There we go. I can actually move this up or down as need be to make sure that my blowers are just that little bit above the hot end. Okay, so these guys can come out of the back here. I'm going to put that little M3 5mm in the front. I guess I'm doing good now. I think I'm actually streaming. And we're going to find this hole in here, hopefully, with no problem. I think I'm a little bit low. Oh, there it is. Okay. Black on black, hard to see. There it is. Got it. Got it. I got it, by golly. Okay, so before I tighten that up too much, let's just, make sure. We'll go a little high. I'd rather err on the side of caution. I think we're good there. I can always lower that if I need to. Okay, and we'll snug this back one up. There we go. Good, 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 good. Okay, we're going to put the cooling fan in the front here. Nice little slot to run the wires back down. It's great. And these are sort of just self-tapping screws in here. Are these Phillips? Of course, they're probably Phillips. Or are they Hex? No, I think they are Phillips. So this little, there we go. Okay, and the second one. So far, so good. There we go. Let's get some tools off of this. Now we're going to come around to the side here. There we go. Not a bad. That's a good looking job. He did a good job on this thing. I'm going to feed these up in here, sort of just to hide them a little bit. There we go. And this guy's going to sit in here. Oh, you know what? I bet I don't have any more screws to put that in with. Damn. I may have to, let's see, do I have anything that'll fit those? I think I may have to get some M4s. Yeah, those holes look a bit big for M3s. So, let me go and grab some M4s. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Although you can hear me as I go because I got the wireless mic on. Yes, it's the wireless mic from Ronco. Okay, it's not Ronco. Those are M5s. These are M4s. Okay. I have more screws than I can shake a stick at. But can you ever have too many screws? Okay. Let's bring you around to the side here a little bit. Let's turn this. There we go. So let's hope that I can actually get away with. Oh, that might work. That may be a bit long. Let's see. Will this be a bit long or will this be... Oh, that might just work. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. It's not really a self-tapping screw, but there we go. Let's just see if this will catch this just enough to thread in. And it won't. Okay, so let me see what I can do about this. Oh yeah, I can, there we go. I can thread that in just fine, and I'll do the bottom one here. I can thread that in. Just get this started before I put the fan on. It'll make it that much easier. Again, my hands are too big. Too big. Okay, come on. Let's back this up a hair. I just need to, all I'm trying to do is get this screw started in this piece, in this extrusion. This is PETG as well that I printed this out of. The same PETG I printed my drone parts out of. Perfect. Just had to get them started. It's easier to do with the fan off. So now we can put him up, put him in. Put it up, put it out, pull it. Okay, sorry, I won't sing. Oh, maybe I do need a little longer screws. I do need a little longer. I do need longer. There we go. Much better. Muchas better. Zippies work great. Yeah, those holes don't go right through though. If I had to, I could alter them. Whoops. But those holes don't go right through, but this'll work. This'll work good. Holding that fan where it needs to be. I've got some of those, I've ordered, let me bring this over here. Not quite lined up on this one. Come on. Why am I not lined up here? There we go. I've ordered some of those, I don't know what you call it. It's the little receptor. So it's a little metal thing that you use a soldering iron, you melt it into your piece, and then it gives you the nut for screwing your bolt into. I don't necessarily have an immediate use for them, but I ordered some. Okay, I'm not actually getting quite lined up on this hole. We're lined up. I started it, I pre-threaded it. It's not a big deal. This fan will work with just the one screw holding it in, but it just doesn't look as nice. Okay, what is the problem? I know I'm the problem, I know. Okay, it's a bit low. If I raise it up a little bit. Should work. Should work. Well, I'm going to leave it like that for now. I don't know, that hole's, I've got to take that apart and line that hole up. That's okay. It's going to work. It'll be fine for now. I'll worry about that later. I don't want to waste everybody's time and bore everybody with that. Now there's one little piece. Where did I put it? One last tiny piece, and I'll bet it fell right here. So there's one tiny piece here. Now if I raise this camera up, this will give you guys sort of a top-down view of this thing. Right here. There we go. Right where the wires for the fan and everything come out of here. He's designed this one little piece so that it basically goes on here. Let me lower the gantry a bit so you can get a better view of this. So this just sort of goes on here, slides in. Oops, it's got to go down a little lower. And just, there we go, slides in. It's just nice little finishing touch. It's like a little wire cover. And I will bring all these wires out here, and there is some holes here to zip tie the wires in. So I'm just going to make sure these are all gathered together here. I'm going to throw a zip tie through this hole right here. There's actually 2 holes there. I'm probably just going to get away with 1 for now. And then we will zip tie this in. I needed to use smaller zip ties. These are too big. Yeah, let me get a couple smaller ones. I think I have some in my drawer up here. Yeah. And look, they're blue, so they're going to basically match the printer and the print bed. Look at that. See, it's all about matching. They're blue. What kit printer was the easiest to build? Like the Ender 3S and up to the bigger ones. What kit printer was the easiest to build for me? I would say the CR6SE was the easiest kit to build. Well, kit. Okay, CR6SE wasn't really a kit. I'm just going to zip this so it doesn't slip up. As far as kits go, the easiest kit for me to build so far has been this Ender 3 V2. I've never built an Ender 3. So this Ender 3 V2 was pretty simple. CR6SE wasn't a kit, but it did have some assembly required. It was pretty simple to build. And the funnest kit to build was the Prusa MK3. Was, in my opinion, the funnest one I've built. And I'm just going to secure this down here. Cable management's not my forte right yet. I will pretty it up a little bit later, but you know what? That's going to do for now. And once I get the Bowden tube in there, it's going to attach a little bit. It'll work pretty good. But anyway, so that's all tied up sort of relatively nice and neatly back there. That thermistor should have stayed put. Let's get Mr. Bowden in here, down, and then I just got to slip this clip on here. Hopefully, whoops, that's not good. I just dropped that little clip. Let me find my tweezers. Where'd it go? There it is. There we go. I just want to get that retaining clip on the Bowden coupler here. Just a kind of a little tight squeeze in here. But with a little bit of patience and a little bit of persistence, it's on. There we go. We got the, probably see it over here, the retainer for the coupler. And the Bowden tube's all the way in. And we will just give this one more tie right up here. Just to hold these two guys together. There we go. Should be good. Okay, let's see. Loosen the first screw. What first screw? I think I'm way ahead of there, Mark. Oh, you mean loosen this first screw before I put the bottom one in? Yeah, I'll probably do that after. But for now, this is pretty much together. Let me lower this a little bit. Actually, let me give you, actually, I'm going to bring the close-up camera over to get you guys that closer look in here. Let me back this up a hair here. There we go. And actually, it's overall, it's a neat looking package. It's pretty cool. I mean, I might spice it up with a little, I might have printed it in 2-color, maybe do black, blue to match the printer, but hey, it's cosmetic, right? Everything's got to match, right? First thing I want to do is see if I can heat up that hot end, make sure that thermistor is still in place, and it looks like it's in place. But let's just see. If I prepare and preheat PLA, I'll know in a minute if it's not. So we have the cooling fan going. So one thing about this is the cooling fan goes right from the get-go. And the part cooling fan is running as well, which shouldn't be. Oh, maybe it's just, I don't know why that's on. But we'll see what happens. Well, maybe my fan is turned on here. Let me see. Let me see. But we are heating, so that's good. So that thermostat is staying in place. It's giving a temperature reading. Let's go. Let's see fan. Am I not able to check my fan speed here? This firmware is not the best. No, well, let's see what happens here. That parts cooling fan should not be spinning right now. Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah, I know if it slips, but that's, you know, when I read it, that thermal grease is supposed to hold that in there, and that's all they had for holding it in there. So we're going to see if that does cause any issues, and if need be, as I say, I bought a, where did I put it? I did purchase, is it in here? I don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere. I did buy a new cartridge thermistor that I can wire in there if I need to. I'm going to see, and if this one does give me hassle, I will put this one in here. Then I just got to go into the firmware and change it to a number 5 thermistor. So we'll see. But right now we're heating up. Bed's heating, hot end's heating. I don't recall that hot end fan kicking in, that cooling fan kicking in the other one, but then again it was a quieter fan too, so this fan may have to run a little colder or slower too for the print, so we'll see. But okay, we got the bed heating, and I was going to bring this close-up camera around to show you guys underneath here. Let's see. Show you guys what it looks like underneath where the okay, let's go to the close-up. Let's see if this works. There we go. So, whoops. My wires are spilling things here. So, under here we have the hot end. So yeah, that thermistor has stayed in place. And then we have the hot end, which is slightly below the cooling fan jets. So it's pretty tidy looking under there, so hopefully that's going to do what it's supposed to do. We will see. We will find out. Build. There we go. Look at that. Getting used to switching these cameras. Oh! I just got my finger caught in the camera. Don't ask. Okay, let's load some filament. We just got a roll of Prusament on here. Galaxy Silver. I find this quite an easy printer to load. One thing, let me back this up a bit here. One thing I find funny on this camera is that they give you this knob so you can turn your extruder. And I never use it. I find it quicker just to hold this open and push the filament through. That'll be one of the things that I change on this eventually, is the extruder as well. So yeah, once I get the filament in, I find it just quicker just to push the filament right into the hot end. There we go. And we'll get this down a little lower again. I don't need it that high. And let's see if we can get some filament extruding. Let's move Z up a little bit. Let's move Z up a little bit. And yeah, this should definitely work. Okay, and let's extrude. Let's bring 50 millimeters or so out. Okay, filament going in. And let's get some filament coming out this hot end. Maybe I didn't push it in far enough. Let's give it an assist here. There we go. Filament coming out. Perfect. So I'm going to just really quickly do a level. It shouldn't be too far off level. Talked last week about this BQ build surface. I quite like this. It's super thin and it works really well. PLA and PETG stick really well to this build surface. And it comes off extremely easy once it's cooled off. So, okay, we're going to go home. Well, I'm home. We're going to home the printer. Better my finger, not something else. Yes, Shane. And it was my finger caught in the close-up camera. Don't ask. Let me get a piece of paper here ready. Kind of concerned that that part cooling fan is still on. So it's wired right, and it's blowing the right direction. But maybe it shuts off when I start a print. Okay, let's disable the stepper. And we're a little low. Bed's a little low. Oops, other way. There we go. A little high over here. There we go. A little high over here. A little low on this side. There we go, there we go. Good. Good. Check the middle real quick. A little low, a little high in the middle, so we're going to just go jump. Yep. Compensate on the outside, and that should be good. Just like that. We should have a level bed. Let's go back and print that file. What we're going to print is the same one I printed right here with the stock hot end. So, and I just, as soon as I hit print, that part cooling fan did shut right off. So it's much quieter now. So I don't like that that comes on right away, and I'm sure there's a way to change that in the firmware, but I'm not a firmware expert, so I'm not sure. So let's see how this works. Will it clipper ties? I don't use clipper. I've heard of clipper, and I've heard all the cool people use clipper, but I have no idea. I haven't done the community firmware yet, tripod. I'm going to work on that this week. I just haven't had a chance yet. Okay, this is just going to heat itself up to 215 and 65. I do my bed at 65 down here because I got a pretty cool ambient temperature here and the bed cools off. You like those beds, but the longer you use the printer, you find the bed doesn't stay true flat. Yeah, okay, well, we'll see. I haven't used it a lot yet, so we'll see what happens. Everybody's leaning towards glass lately. I've got a supplier that I can get some fireplace glass off of. I may look into that eventually and see how much it costs. Okay, I'm just going to tune this as we go here, but my level should be pretty much bang on. And we are printing. And I'm going to do some adjustments here on my Z offset. I'm just going to raise that a little bit. There we go. Let me give you guys a close-up camera view of what's printing here. Let's see if I do this and bring this up, and I'll just make this a little bigger here. There we go. And that layer height feels really good. My only concern, yeah, that's good. We're sticking and it's a good layer height. My only concern with this is going to be that parts cooling fan. Is it too strong? And I can control my fan speed here. Yes, good. Good. I can control my fan speed. So we'll see what happens on that second layer. Here, let me bring this. Oh, I can't bring this over. I need a USB extension cable on this thing. But I can bring it a little lower. Don't need the light on. Quite the reflection off that print surface, but that's okay. I'm just trying to get you guys there to see that layer. And oh, look, my lovely wife is coming downstairs, and she's bringing a plate of something, but she's not going to show herself on camera. Come on, encourage Maria to get on camera here,
Never.
folks. Is that for me?
Yeah, I made this, but I don't know if it tastes good.
Oh,
I tried it, but I don't like it.
okay. I'm going to be the taste tester here, folks. Look, she brought me down a plate of homemade cornbread because she knows I love cornbread. It's crumbly cornbread, but let's see how it tastes. Taste test. It's different.
It needs something else, like it's missing something.
Yeah, if I'm being truthful and honest with you, it needs something.
Okay, let me take
Yep.
it back. Yeah, I didn't think it was worth a whole bite.
It needs something.
It's like it didn't stick together or something, right?
No, but the flavor needs something too.
Well, I thought it was a good try.
Dan DB3D says, hello, Maria.
Hi.
Maria says hi. She won't show herself on camera because she hasn't done her hair. Good looking first layer here first so far, guys. Thanks, love. I love cornbread too, Tripod. And I'm being honest with her that just didn't. There's something missing in that. Hey, Paul, how you doing? There's something missing in that. But I love cornbread, so she's really trying her best to make some cornbread for me. That's a great looking layer going down, of course. Not to steal his thunder, but as my friend Richard on the first layer says, the first layer is your foundation to a good print. And that is so true. Okay, after this layer, I just want to see what happens on layer 2. I want to make sure that that cooling fan is not too much for this hot end, because that was blowing pretty good. Now, I don't know if it's going to blow that speed when it actually turns on. I don't know the electronics and the mechanics behind all this. So, my printer cam outed. My printer cam outed here? What do you mean, Dan? My printer cam. This close-up guy? Oops, it's hitting the, oh, a little too low. There we go. Come on, this thing will get really close if almost looks like it's touching that thing, but it's not. It's just it zooms in very well. What kind of hot end? This is the This hot end that I put on here is the Phaetus, however you want to pronounce it, the Dragonfly by Phaetus. This camera's not going to focus too well. It's the Phaetus Dragonfly. Oh, you outed her. Okay. My printer cam outed her. Oh, you saw her on the cam. Yes. Yes. On this one when she went back upstairs. Good point. Don't tell her. Okay, that fan just kicked in. I just want to make sure it's not overcooling. The height of the fan is perfect. That first layer is perfect. That fan is loud. It's blowing pretty good. Fan speed's 255, which basically means 100%. I just want to see how well it lays down this second layer. And then we'll go from there. Do you guys like this camera arrangement for this type of show? So me having this one up here that you guys can see me in, and I can look up and talk to you while I read the chat, and then the close-up camera that I can move around, and then of course this build camera here. Whoop. These views I think seem okay, and yeah, you guys get a cool view of how close that close-up camera actually is based on what you're seeing in the close-up camera screen. Build size on this, Paul, is 235, I believe. 235, 235. Let's just confirm for sure, but I believe it's 230 by 230. Well, the build plate is, but I believe the actual build size is 225, 225 on this. Although I think it's only rated as a 210, 210, but the actual plate is 235, 235. The plate itself. Put a drop sheep on the stairs. Message retracted. Good, because I didn't understand what you meant. You didn't retract it quick enough. Oh, thank you, John. John, the camera's fine? Great. Merv moved back to June? Oh. I hope that happens. I want to go to one. I really do. I want to meet everybody in person. That'd be so good. Put a drop sheet covering the stairs. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I got a drop sheet behind me here that's blocking the rest of the living room. Like this one here. Here, I'll just turn this camera for a second. So I got the laundry is over there, but I put a big drop sheet. Those are my lights. There's a light there and a light here. And that green screen in the back is just my TV. But I put this big, that's actually a big outdoor projection screen. But I dropped that in there, sort of just over to the right of where my man cave sign and my filament rack is. And there's a Prusa over there. And I just put that to hide the rest of the basement. But with my camera showing this view here, that's my shelf with all our toilet paper and cleaning supplies. But with the camera in this view here, that's probably not a bad idea to find another drop sheet. I could actually probably find a retractable thing that for my shows, for my streams, I can just pop it down. Okay, just want to check this layer. That is cooling a bit too much, so I'm going to just slow this fan speed down. Let's go down to 200. Nothing. Let's see. I'm going to slow that down maybe to half. I think that's cooling a bit too much. Move it from 255 to 150. See what that does. Yeah, I think it's cooling a bit too fast. Okay, we'll see. That's something I'm going to have to figure out. That's definitely a much bigger fan than the fan that was on there, so. Now again, is that something in the firmware? Do I tell the firmware, for those of you that know, that I switch fans? I don't know. This Whitecam, John, am I reading your name right? John. Yeah, this Whitecam is autofocus and manual focus actually. So if I move it slightly, to show you the back of it in this other camera, actually if I do this, you'll see that on the back, it's got 4 buttons. You can kind of see them here. There's over here, it's a light, so I can turn the light on, and then there's a plus and minus button on the bottom there, and that allows me to adjust the brightness of the light that I can turn on. And then this one over here, I'm not going to touch it right now, but that is a manual focus button. If I touch that, it disables autofocus, and the autofocus is disabled until I unplug and plug the camera back in and reactivate it. So I can do that, but I don't like the beep it gives. But yeah, it's autofocus, so like if I go there, it's going to focus itself relatively good, versus if I just switch right over there, it's going to, oh, I might have hit that autofocus button. Oh, let's just do it. So if I hit the manual focus button, it focuses on the back there. If I get onto this plate here and hit the manual focus button, we get focus. There we go, it found it. So yeah, well, I guess I'm going to manual focus for here. So we'll just put this back on here, get that focused here. So we'll let this go. This third layer looks a little better. I slowed the fan down from 255 to 150. What firmware? I'm using stock firmware right now, Shadowfang, but I do have one of my under 3s at my office. I did upgrade to the latest 2.02, I believe, Marlin. I upgraded, which I don't see much of a difference. I don't think it made a whole lot of difference. You have this camera tripod? It's a great camera. Hey Matt German, how are you? Let me just feel this third layer. Yeah, that third layer is much better with that fan speed. Yeah. Okay, so I definitely have to slow this fan down. I can do that in my slicing software when I slice for this printer. But I'm going to see if I can. I don't know if I can adjust it in the firmware or not. I don't know enough about it. Corner seems to be, no, that corner's fine. Okay, so that's a good fan speed for this printer. For this particular fan, I mean. So let me just tidy up a few tools here. Then we'll talk about a couple other things here. I'm gonna put that away, hang up these snippers. I don't know if you guys have if I've ever given you a tour of my studio. So let's do this. Who wants to see a little tour? What am I 3D printing, Paul? Oh, real quick. I printed this little mini testing tower with the stock hot end. So this is going to tell me about the overhang and a couple other things, stringing and bridging. And so I'm just printing the exact same thing, so I have a direct comparison as to how the two hot ends perform. And we'll see if there's much of a difference or not. So this is supposed to be a fabulous hot end, so it's all metal versus the stock hot end, which wasn't. Yana. Okay, Yana. Okay, I like that. Call you whatever I feel is appropriate. I don't know you well enough yet to call you what I feel may be appropriate, but that's great. Okay, I'll try and remember that, Yana, for sure. Let's make this window a tiny bit smaller, and then I'll just give you guys a quick little tour. How can I do this? I'll just pick up this camera. Where's that other camera? Where did I put it? I have too many cameras. I have 5 cameras going, if you can believe it. Where's the 5th one? I had another camera hooked up here, and I thought I was going to use it, and then I thought, no, I don't really need it, and I don't know where I put it. Anyways, that's fine. So basically, this is behind. So this is, whoops. Oh, my cable's caught here. There we go. Oh, come on, cable. There we go. So behind my desk here, so that's the stairs that come down in my basement. That is my 32-inch curved Samsung monitor. And then up above, I've mounted I don't recall what size that is. I think that's a 24. Just an LG monitor I've mounted up top there. which is where I'm actually reading the chat from. And then that camera, just on the top left of that monitor, is the one that you're seeing in the bottom left of my screen right now. So this is my, what I call my supercomputer. It's an Asus, I guess, entry-level gaming computer, but it's really, really improved my performance for my streams. It's allowed me to run, well, I've got 5 cameras running on it right now. So it's pretty cool. It's a neat little computer. You see that little thing with the little lights and the antenna? That is the microphone antenna for the mic that I'm speaking on right now. And then I've got above, I've got my backup microphone, which is my Yeti. And then right up there is my overhead camera. And those are mounted to a couple boom arms that are hanging off my shelf there. And then right over here is sort of just a few, that's sort of my electronic station. There's some Bernies up there. I like my sign, caution, I am a bad influence, but I'm damn fun. And then there we have my CR6 SE sitting right there with 2 Bernies sitting on top. And in beside it we have the, that's the Mingda Rock 3. And beside the Mingda Rock 3, we have the FlashForge Creator 3. And then of course, my LED sign in the back. And then I have some tool case, just some tools back there and some various stuff sitting around. On the floor there, that one printer closest to me on the floor is an old CR20S Pro, which is basically stripped down. I don't use that printer anymore. I never liked them, but it's got some parts in it that I could use, some wheels, power supply, etc. And in behind it is the Kingroon KP3S sitting on the floor there. And then that's just an ultrasonic cleaner and shelf with some resins on it. That little lighthouse print, it's pretty cool. I won that from AVK3D on Dan's stream. And then over this other side of this pole, it's my filament shelf, and that's the Prusa MK3, i3 MK3S in that sort of IKEA lac shelf. And then I have my my filament shelf, and of course my beautiful man cave sign that my wonderful wife gave me for Christmas this year. So, and then down here I have the rep box, which I've got to mount and put up eventually. So that's sort of a quick overview of my, and then some tools up there, my drawers with all my parts, and I have screws, hot ends, fans, you name it up there. So yeah, that's sort of a quick tour of my studio and what I have down here. So, and I have really, really, really high-end security for anybody thinking of coming over to visit me. So I have really good security in here. Sitting on the floor sounds like a giveaway item. Okay, Marcel. You know what? I am going to do a giveaway when I hit 500 subs. I think I'm at 420 or something right now. I'm going to be doing a 500 sub giveaway. I don't know what I'm going to give away yet, but stay tuned, guys, because once that magic 500 is there, I'm halfway to the magic 1,000, and I do want to do a giveaway of some sort. I'm going to be chatting with a few of my friends on here who have done them and get some advice. So, yep. Anybody else see that TP? Oh, the toilet paper up top? We're not hoarding toilet paper, if that's what you're wondering, Boiler Ram, just in case. But I buy it at Costco. I buy it online. There's 2 packages up there, which we sort of had as our reserve from a year ago when people were hoarding toilet paper. But I've always shopped at Costco, and I always buy in bulk. So we keep a lot of paper towel, a lot of toilet paper in stock, and Kleenex, and light bulbs. And well, anybody that's shopped at Costco knows you don't go into Costco to buy one thing. Well, you do, but you end up coming out with a shopping cart full. So yeah, definitely. But hey, if there's ever a shortage and you want to buy some, I'm selling it for only $20 a roll. Just kidding. So this is still printing. It's doing pretty good so far, so we'll let that roll. Let's switch back over here for a bit. Oh, microphone. Boom, 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 boom. So let's see on chat. 4:30, nice setup. Thanks so much, Radmaster. Yeah, I'm forever. My security dog's a pushover. I have more cameras than people know in this house. It's funny. They are Wise cams. Man, for cameras, those prices, yeah, you can't have enough. You want a CR10 Mini on a Chinese New Year? Little while. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, congratulations. Awesome. CR10 Mini. I've not seen that one yet. Marcel off axis 430. I don't know what that refers to. Oh, I'm at 430. Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, I must have picked up a couple tonight. I thought I was only around 420 something. I appreciate anybody who has subscribed. Thank you. So I want to show off. Are you still on the stream tripod? Are you in the background there somewhere? So I should have gone a different way and brought tripod on so you could come on my stream with me, but maybe another day. But so I'm sure some of you have saw the live stream of tripods on Friday with Jerry and oh gosh, I don't want to miss. Man, I'm having a brain fart right here. Help me out here, tripod, if you're on here. It was you, Jerry, and Prentice. What's Prentice's first name? Man, I'm having a brain fart. Somebody on here can hear me. You can help me. I'm struggling. But hey, if I find Twitter before anybody... Robert Prentice. Is it Robert Prentice? Yeah. Anyways, there's the droid project that that we're talking about. So I hopped on board late. I couldn't make Sam Prentice. Thank you, tripod. Thank you. So see, yeah, Sam Prentice was on the stream as well. So I hopped on that. I couldn't make the live stream. I was sort of in transit on the way home, but I did want to do it. So I basically joined Nero 3V is a fresh video on how to convert the Ender 3 with Clipper. I gotta look into this Clipper thing. I've heard a lot about it. Anyways, I joined the see, I'm having such a brain fart here. But anyways, I joined the gentleman's Patreon, and I got the files, and so I've been printing these files for the droid. So I'll just show you guys the prints. Now these are all done on with Prusament Galaxy Black PET G. I can watch while driving, but the problem with watching while driving, I got a pretty good data plan with my phone. I got 30 gigs of shared data. Oh, okay, Dan, thanks so much. Much appreciated, Dan. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on your next stream for sure. Yeah, so Prusament Galaxy Black PET G. So this one was run on the, I ran this one on my CR6 SE, and it turned out beautiful. This is the body. Okay, I was impressed. Okay, I left this going at my office. I was impressed that there was no supports used on this, and I was a little nervous leaving it to print even though I had a camera on it, because that whole inside top you see there is all bridging. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's PET G. It didn't string at all. There was no cleanup. This is how this came off the printer. So no stringing, nothing. It's amazing filament, and the bridging was just incredible. I mean, I'm sure there's some loose strings in there if I get my hand in there and feel it, but that is, I can't ask for any better bridging than that on that printer. So quite impressed with that. So that's the body. Then I came home the same night and I did the head on my Prusa MK3 with the same filament. I have 2 rolls of that filament. So this is the head printed on the MK3. Again, beautiful print. Not as much bridging, but again, the inside of this on the top was a little bridged hole. The bridging was excellent on that. Oh, you'll ask it again, what was the easiest and hardest kit printer to put together for me? Easiest kit printer, I thought I mentioned that, was the Ender 3 V2, was the easiest kit. Hardest kit to put together, but it was the funnest kit to put together, was the Prusa MK3. So 8 hours took me on the Prusa MK3, but I know people can do it quicker, but I took my time. I enjoyed it. I ate I ate the gummies the way they wanted them to. It was about an 8-hour build for me on that one. The Ender 3 V2 here is about I did them live, so they took me about an hour, but in reality I could do that in about a half hour. On a build on a half hour to 45 minutes on the Ender 3 V2. So those were my easiest and hardest kits for building, definitely. So sorry if I missed that earlier. I thought I had sort of touched on it. So yeah, so that's the head. So we have the head and the body. This is another part for the head. So basically what's going to happen is that'll go in the head. We've got the gear here that's going to drive the head, that's going to turn the head. Okay, I don't know the assembly fully yet. That's another live stream they're going to be doing. So we have the body, the dome or the head. We have the legs, right leg, left leg. Again, these were both printed on the CR6 SE as well. I made a mistake on the file and I actually added support material here, which I didn't have to do. So all I did was waste filament because it didn't hurt it to add support material. So, and then I just have over here, I'll just bring this camera over here a little bit and we will zoom down here. So these are just a few of the other parts. Let's focus this. There's the button. And those are just a few of the other little parts. So this will give you an idea of the size. Faceting of the head could be gone with arc welder arcs activated on Clipper. Yeah, I'll check out Clipper. I didn't have good luck with arc welding on one of my first prints. I'll show you in a second. So this is a little tiny wheel hub, I guess you'd want to call it. And then this little wheel is going to go in here, basically. There's a little tiny bearing that's going to go inside this wheel. I printed a spare one of these. I don't know why I did, but I did. And then these are just some other little parts that are going to go with it. And then over here are the servo motors. I purchased these on Amazon. These just came in today, so these are the servo motors. Again, I don't know how to use these, but that's part of the whole experience that we're going through. Servo motors with all these parts that they came with. Let's go back to the main camera. Maybe some teal PET G for color. Yeah, I might even paint one a bit though. I didn't want to get into painting right now. I do want to try that eventually. I know that I'm sure Jerry's painting his, and probably Tripod's painting his. I'm not sure, but I just picked a cool color that would show some features, and it's got some sparkly to it. So, and then I've got right here. This is the battery pack. That they recommended for it. It's just a 4.8 volt battery pack, and it came with a which one is it? This one here. Came with a charger, a USB charging cable for the battery pack. And then in here we have the 6-channel remote control with the control unit that comes in it. So this is a whole system. So there's a little pack that comes with it that you plug all your servos and everything into. I know nothing about this stuff. This is brand new to me, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to get involved with this, with these guys doing this, is because this is going to teach me something new and perhaps give me some other ideas for different projects down the road. But I'm excited to learn this. It's what's keeping me young. All print in PLA. No, this is all PET G, Paul. Everything I'm doing for this is in PET G. Because I had 2 rolls of this PET G sitting around, so I thought may as well try it in PET G. And I've had really, really good luck printing PET G on all my printers so far. So, what else did I get with this package? Oh, a whole bunch of. Here's the bearings. Those are tiny, tiny bearings. So those are some bearings that came with it. And then you can never have enough screws. I mean, I wanted to cover the bases of all of them, so you can never have enough screws. So there's a whole bunch of screws. They're cheap, so why not have them? And then I've got some grub screws coming in because it requires a couple grub screws for a couple of the pieces. So there we go. So to say that I jumped in head first on this project is an understatement. Yeah. Ah, cool, Marcel. Like to see some of them. Let me just go over here and grab this, because this just finished printing today over at the Prusa here. This finished printing just at the beginning of my stream. Learning, yeah, exactly, Jan. Did I get it right? Yanni. Learning new stuff I find it keeps me young. So these just came off my Prusa in the same PETG filament. So these should just nicely, that's why I like flex beds. I know you guys like glass, but boom, and then just parts pop right off. Boom. You got to let it cool off on, especially PETG on these beds. And then there's some wheels, and then here's some other parts for the legs, and boom, just pops right off. That's why I like flex sheets. Glass has its advantage, but if you get good flex sheets and they work really well, I'll stick with them as long as I can. So there we go. We'll go back over here. And I think that is all my parts printed. So now I'm excited for the stream, the next stream, which is I believe going to be talking about building, putting all this together. So there's some more bridging that happened in here, which is pretty decent. Worked out pretty good on the inside of these. I like the fact that there's no support required for all these too. The Magic Mini. Oh yeah, I didn't mention I have the Mini. Where's my Mini? Yeah, the Mini is just sitting right over here on this box. Yeah. So I've yet to have all these printers going at once, but I will say I had 6 printers going in this basement at once, and I blew a fuse. I blew actually in one of my extension cord things. Everything in this basement, this will make you cringe maybe, but everything in this basement is running off of one outlet. It's a rental house. And when they built the basement, whoever built the basement had the bright idea just to put one outlet, other than the washer and dryer, of course. They have their own separate power. But everything else, the lights are separate, of course, but only one electrical outlet in this whole basement. So, but fortunately, first thing I did was switch all the lights. Every light in this house is LED, so there's less current being drawn in an LED bulb, LEDs, and so everything seems to work pretty good down here. I don't even know how many amps the breaker is, but so far I've only blown it once by having, it was 6 or 7 printers going at once, and all the heat beds were going, and that was drawing some current. So, and the breaker did what the breaker was supposed to do. Some little wheels, and I'm wondering if there's any advantage to printing these out of TPU. We'll see how it all works and see how the drone goes, but yeah. I don't know if I could print these out of TPU or not. I know the bearings are going to go in here too, so possibly. We'll see, because I do have a roll of black TPU sitting up here that I could try running on the Flash Forge. This guy. So these legs, these go together somehow, sort of like this. Ooh, look at that. And then inside the leg. It's going to be a cool looking droid. I'm excited. This is going to be actually the most fun thing I've 3D printed yet and put together. Especially, I love that we're putting electronics in it. Then I may do some LEDs in the eyes and stuff as I learn a bit more. So, but this is very, very cool. Your drone channel. You have moved to off-axis 3D as your printing channel, but you have past 3D printing on this one. Okay, cool. I'm going to check that out for sure, Marcel. Oh, my misfortune with Arc Welder. Oh, okay, Yanni. Yeah, you wanted to see that. Are you feeling not cold on that concrete floor with no shoes? I am. Yes. It's chilly down here. It's actually not bad tonight. Mind you, I got the sweater on, so it's not as bad. But yeah, the floor is a little chilly, but I'm sitting on a stool right now, on a drafting stool, so my feet are off the floor for the most part. And I've got a carpet down just over behind here too. But when I hit the concrete floor, yeah, it's a little chilly. Once you get addicted to Full Stars i2 as a game changer. Oh, don't even get me started, Marcel. To back up though, yeah, the misfortunes on Arc Welder. Well, okay, so The story about my arc welder experience. I don't know how that broke, but anyways, oh, the chimney broke on it. Is I was my friend Richard from the First Layer was helping me out with some firmware and so forth, and some slicing settings for the Mingda Rock 3. So we turned on the arc welder and said, "I'll run a Benchy," and there is my Benchy using Cura Slicer on the Mingda Rock 3 with arc welder. So then I tweeted about this too. So this Benchy basically, here, let's get the close-up camera on it too. It's even more impressive on the close-up camera. Let's do this. There we go. So there's, let's autofocus. Let's focus this thing here. Come on, there we go. There's the Benchy on with arc welder turned on. Okay, and I don't know, the smokestack must have broke. I must have dropped it somewhere. I want to glue it back on because that was part of the appeal. The smokestack looked even worse than the rest of it. But yeah, that's Benchy with arc welder turned on. So all I did was re-rip the file. No, I didn't even re-rip it. Re-slice it. I took the same file, turned arc welder off, sliced it, and mind you, I haven't tuned anything else in the slicer, but this was a Benchy with arc welder turned off. A little bit of an improvement on it. There we go. Had a few issues with some layers there, but again, I haven't tuned the slicer to that printer quite right yet. But for the most part, it's not bad. It's much better than this, but I'm keeping this because that's really kind of cool looking. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, that's my experience with arc welder so far. So, but I heard on a stream today that there's something in the printer, hardware of the printer, that has to be present in order for arc welder to work. So I don't know. I don't know enough about that to comment too much on that yet. I got to find the smokestack for this guy. I didn't realize it had broken off. It's probably on my floor here somewhere, or in one of my pockets. Did I enable arc support and firmware? Probably not. That's probably the issue because I didn't know I had to. So, isn't that nice copper filament? That is the Arion silk copper. A lot of my filaments on the shelf back here, that whole top shelf, I've probably got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I've probably got about 16 rolls of Arion silk filament there, and then I got some Prusament down below here, and then some various other ones down here. I love the silk filaments from Arion. Arc welder takes tuning to get right, and the firmware has to be set to run it. Okay, see, I didn't know that, and I'll look into that. I'm not a firmware expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I will look into that for sure. I've never heard of it before, so yeah. I'll step on this smokestack one day. Yeah, I will, Mark. I certainly will. So, let's see. This print is working. Oh, it's coming along. I don't know how long this is going to be. It may be too long for my stream tonight, but if this print is going to take too long, let's just zoom in on this here a bit. There we go. So that's how far we've come so far. I don't know what's happening in here. Looks like something funky happening right in here. But I'll have to see. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sure you can. So that could be a cooling issue. I'm not sure. But yeah. Yeah, I've got to figure out the cooling with this larger fan that I put on here. That I may be having issues with that, but we'll see what happens. What's that other side look like? Let's get a little closer look in there. Focus on there. Yeah, I don't know what's happening right there. But we'll see. I'll just keep it going and see what happens. But the fact is, the hot end's on, it's working. I think I do need to tune that parts cooling fan a little bit. Broken record player. Yeah, well, when you find something that works, it's great, and I appreciate the fact you shared that. I need to adjust the firmware for it because I had no clue. But at least I know if I want to get some funky results, I know how not to use it. What's going on in there? I'm curious. Cooling shroud, yeah, it is Prusament PET G. It's the same filament that I printed all those droid parts out of. It's here. Let's focus on it a bit here. There we go. Looks really good. It's their Galaxy Black, and I like the Galaxy Black. Got a few strings here on it that I didn't clean up, but I like the Galaxy Black because of the sparkles that shows on it. And I printed that on the CR6 SE. So here we go. There's a good view of this now. Okay, there we go. Focus on the print. Oh, that could just be, I think that issue down here is definitely cooling related. I'm going to see what happens when I pull this print off when it's finished. But yeah, I just want to see how it does this tower as far as the nozzle and see if there's any improvement. But if that fan is running too fast and cooling too much, then I'm not going to get a fair comparison. And then again, if we look down even lower, if I can get this lower, how low can I get this? How low can I go? Hang on one second. I want to get level with the bed if I can here. I'm just looking down here to see how close. See, there is a little bit of room. I could lower that fan shroud a little more. I could lower it another millimeter, easy enough, and I wonder if that's going to make a difference in the cooling too. Again, although that should be working fine where it is, it could just be a matter of slowing that fan down when it's printing, because it is a much bigger fan than the stock fan. So I'm learning this as you guys are learning it with me, and you guys out there probably know it. You just realize you need support on one of your machines, and now you know it's 95% done. You wonder what will happen without support. Uh-oh. You're going to find out. You're about 95% too late to think of it. No, I don't usually cool down the first two layers. This one kicked in after layer 1, but that's just the way the slicer was set on this. But yeah, I don't usually. Now this angle, at this angle, this issue is kind of gone. So I think it's just a first layer issue on there, and I think that's the second layer. That's what it is. That little bumpiness that I saw down there was a second layer when the fan was going too fast, and then after that I slowed down the fan from 255 to 150, and I think it's going to be fine from that layer up. It's just going to be some fine tuning I need to do for this particular fan on this printer, so we'll figure that out. These are things that I wouldn't even thought of tackling when I first got into 3D printing, but you know what? I love learning this stuff now, so, and I love sharing, and I love doing these videos as I'm learning. You guys are learning, I'm learning, well, you guys help me learn, so yeah, it's great. Let's see. I just want to see, we have how many people on here so far still? 25 people watching. I like it. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated. Yeah, when I got these servos, let's go back here. They're smaller than I thought. It's funny when you see stuff on Amazon. You look at the picture and, like, to me this looked like it was going to be like this big, whatever, and it's so tiny and cute. And I've heard of a servo before, but I had no clue what they were for or how to use them. And I'm getting a good idea now. So it's going to be fun to see how all this comes together. I'm so excited about it. So. What's everybody else up to this week? Tomorrow's a holiday here. My YouTube playback is looking very blurry compared to my actual camera. I'm just hoping it's just my computer screen and that my image is actually sharp. That would be nice. Let's see what my playback is playing at. Quality 480. Oh, no wonder my quality playback is 480p. Oh, there we go. Okay. Why did I have my playback at 480p? 720. 1040, 1028, whatever I put it to. 720 is much better. I guess I'm only broadcasting at 720p, but that's pretty good quality. Very cool. Anybody have any questions? Freezing. You're going to freeze this week, John? We're just getting out of our cold spell. Last week was interesting. Wednesday morning on the way to work, 6:30 in the morning, still dark out. And I know what some of you guys are going to say, and I deserve everything I get here. Driving to work 6:30 in the morning, and halfway downtown, coming down Center Street, I realize I have a flat tire. My tire pressure gauge reading was going down, and I thought, oh boy. I thought, okay, well, it's cold. You lose a little bit of pressure in the cold, especially minus 32, which it was that morning, without the wind chill, minus 32 degrees Celsius. And our scales meet at minus 40, so your Fahrenheit and Celsius meet at minus 40, so you can pretty much guess that was pretty cold in Fahrenheit. Flat tire, so I had to drive on it till I got to a spot where I could get a flat spot and pull over, as opposed to pulling over on the road, and I was on a hill. So I went down to a gas station that was open onto a flat spot of the parking lot. Then I realized that I don't have any gloves in my car. I called AMA. I'm a member of AMA out here, Alberta Motor Association, AAA in the US, I believe it's called. But because of the cold spell we were in, it was 2.5 hours just to speak to an agent. And then, based on the news that I heard the next day, it's a 72-hour wait for battery boost, tire changes, whatever. They were that busy because of the cold spell we've been in all week. So I thought, the heck with this, I'm changing it myself. I got my spare out of the trunk, the donut spare thing, froze my hands getting the spare out. Couldn't figure out for 20 minutes how to use I know how to use the jack, but I couldn't get the handle part, the portable handle part off the jack. Number one, it was freezing. It was cold, so almost like, I swear if I touched my tongue to it, it would have stuck. The jack was that cold. So I brought it into the car, warmed it up a little bit, finally got my little knife out of my pocket, was able to pry it open and snap the little thing off the jack. By then my hands were frozen, so I went into the gas station. They actually had some of these cheap work gloves, so I bought a pair of these cheap work gloves, but it helped. So anyways, long story short, I ended up changing my tire, no problem, got the donut spare on. A half hour later, I was able to continue my drive to work. So yeah, that was very, very cold, very interesting morning, and 4 new tires later, I'm all set and ready to go. I had punctured the sidewall. Somehow the sidewall was cracked. So combination of temperature, driving in snow ruts with ice or something, I cracked the sidewall because I haven't hit a curb that I know of. So somehow that happened. So needed to replace the 2 tires for sure on the front. Back tires were 3/32, so they were getting low anyways. So I just decided, let's go all 4 new tires. So got new tires the next day, and it's all good. But lesson learned: boots, gloves, blanket, an emergency kit. Basically, I need to keep an emergency kit in my car. I'm one of those guys with the attitude that, oh, I'm only driving from point A to point B and back every day. Nothing's going to happen to me between those 2 points. It happened. I'll put an emergency kit in my car now. Nothing will ever happen, and that's okay. That's okay. Sounds like Canada is worse than Sweden. Yeah, really. It gets that cold. It's February here. It's typical February. It can get very cold, but I can't complain because we've had a really, really good winter so far here. We've had 2 major snowstorms. which is actually pretty good for us. And as of tomorrow, today we were minus 18, so it's amazing the difference 10 or 12 degrees can make. We were minus 18, we're getting into the down to the minus 2 to 0 next week. So we're out of the cold spell. The warning has been lifted. So let's see. Colder than a well digger's, yes. And dealing with the rare 10 Fahrenheit in Texas. Yeah, that's cold for you guys for sure. Yanni, did I tune PID for the new hot end? No, I didn't. Oh, and I actually, I had not done that before, and I actually downloaded the instructions for doing a PID tune through Repetier Host. I didn't do that, and I should have done that, and I will do that. I want to do a PID tune for the hot end and the bed. Actually, I researched all that, and something I definitely want to do, because all of a sudden now I know what PID tuning does. It helps with that fluctuation in temperature. But does anybody know what PID stands for? I can't remember. I looked it up, and the PID is an acronym for a specific phrase. But you think I can remember? No. But I will do a PID tuning on this off camera. For sure. It's so cold, AAA calls you for help. Yep. I'm on your 4K there, but only viewing at broadcast size. Okay, that's cool. And your CAA, yeah, you have Canadian Automobile Association. Canada is worse than Sweden and only in Alberta. Yeah, Ontario gets its fair share, though, sometimes of, well, you guys think -5 is cold, but then again, you do have the humidity. I will give you that. Colder than a Bronsby day. Yeah. Shorts weather on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday was nice here. Heated blanket to use for your work van. Forgot to unplug it last week and you went to a customer, had to call CA for a boost. Well, that'll drain your battery. Proportional integral with derivative. Yes. I didn't know that. I looked it up and then I thought, okay, you could say, okay, did I tune my PID for the hot end? Sounds a lot better than did I tune proportional integral derivative for my hot end? I'd go, what the are you talking about? But when I read what PID happens, what it does, then yeah, it's great, and it's so simple to do. It's basically some M commands and G commands, and through Pronterface, or Pronterface or Repetier Host, one of the two. Pronterface, anyways. Do I have both of those? Yeah. It's all new to me. Tuning firmware, sending commands to the printer through G-code commands, the M commands, all new to me. So I'm learning this as I go. But I am learning because I'm watching a lot of people that know what they're doing and learning how to do it, and then I'm doing stuff on my stream, and hopefully somebody is watching my stream that either A, corrects me when I'm doing something wrong, like if you guys all remember back to that 2208 stepper driver installation on the Anycubic. Yeah, that was fun, but I learned something from it, and I'm learning all about the PID tuning now. I'm learning all about basically tweaking firmware. I just recently got comfortable with using, what's that Microsoft one for programming your Marlin firmware? I forget the name of it now, but I'm just getting comfortable using that. And I actually did a successful firmware update on my Ender 3 V2 at my office by going through, somebody tell me what's that called again. I don't have it loaded on this computer, but it's at my office. It's the Microsoft programming where you put in the little alien guy. Studio Code, thank you. Visual Studio Code. You guys, see, I knew somebody would know it. Yeah, so I'm just getting comfortable using Visual Studio Code. It was very, very confusing to me at first. And yeah, so I basically took my time, read some instructions. I found I'm trying to remember which site I found it on, but basically a point by point by point of what to do in Visual Studio Code, because I've never actually taken the time to do that before. So I'm actually quite liking this. And you are right, Marcel, we're all in this together, and we all learn from each other. So I'm doing more of the learning than teaching so far, but you know what? Everybody who's up there now teaching was eventually down at my level where they were in the learning phase. So we're gonna get there. But yeah, the Visual Studio Code's kind of fun. And it's much easier, I find, than when I used to use the Arduino. Arduino I found was pretty easy, but I think Visual Studio Code's a little better. So just easier to find stuff. And of course, with Clipper, you don't have to do any of that, I know. I guess Clipper is something that I need to get into eventually, but little baby steps for me. Yeah, little baby steps. I've heard a lot about Clipper. I watch a lot of on Nero 3D. I watch a lot of his streams, and I love the Vorons he builds, and I'd love to build a Voron printer one day. I don't have the time right now, and I don't have the knowledge quite yet, but I did a little bit of looking into what's involved in building a Voron, and he's right into Clipper. He clippered his Ender 3 V2 that he got, and I'd love to learn. I will eventually figure out what Clipper is and see what it does for me, and yeah, most definitely. So, oh yes, and it's free, and I mean, the fact that we can use a lot of this software for free is incredible. Microsoft Visual Studio Code's free. Clipper, obviously you're saying Clipper is free. The slicers that we get that are free. Pronterface, that other one I mentioned that I've used, which is Repetier Host, is free. It's great. Fusion 360. The fact that we can use that free as makers, as a hobby, is incredible. I've been doing a lot of designing of a few things in Fusion 360. I'm learning a lot about that. I'm getting comfortable with using it to the point where somebody can come up to me and say, can you design me whatever? It's like, yeah, I mean, I'll give it a shot, and it's free to use. Where they could easily charge us an arm and a leg for it, but then there's other alternatives to Fusion 360 that people like that are free as well. So we're very fortunate that we can get that for the most part, other than buying our printer. And if you buy a printer and just use it, which I always recommend to people that are new to this hobby, if you buy a printer, don't do any mods. Just learn how to use it, learn what it does, learn its ins and outs, and then think about mods once you're comfortable printing. But you buy your printer, you buy your filament, and pretty much everything else that you want to do or could do is free. So whether you're downloading a model, whether you're building your own model. So I agree with you there, definitely. I'm butchering your name again, Yanni. I might just call you John, Johnny. Anyways, yeah, open source software in the community show the best sides of humanity. Absolutely. You know, I've been involved. Yes, I agree with you there, Marcel, too. Donate to those guys, help keep it free. I have no problem, like with these files that I got for the Droid. Tripod knows the link, but I forget the gentleman's name that designs these, that made these, and joined his Patreon page. I have no problem joining somebody's Patreon to get good quality models. I'm a member of Clock Spring's Patreon page. I'm a member of the guy that does a lot of the 3D print and place models. My space shuttle, my Dalek model, and all that. I don't mind paying these guys or becoming Patreons or buying the STLs. Definitely, it's great. It's sort of a give and take community, but we do have to support these guys. You're 100% correct. That's why I'm a member of the First Layer. I love what they do. Richard and Brian have given me a lot of help. I support a lot of my fellow YouTubers whenever I can, so it's great. Michael Badley, that's the guy. Yep. Yeah, if you want to throw a link into Michael Badley, that's fine. you can, I don't know if it'll let you put a link in here, but try it and see. But people can just look him up, look up Michael Baddeley Patreon as well. On Patreon, he's got a lot of droid models that you can download and use, and that's what we're doing with this project with these, and the instructions and everything, all the parts lists you need are great. I'm so glad I got involved in this, and thank you, Jerry and Tripod, and for getting me hooked on this. So, well, I may not thank you later after I look at my Amazon bills, but yeah, it's a great community. I've been involved in a lot of different groups over the years. I've been involved in a lot of online forums and online hobbies and that, but I find that the 3D printing community is by far the most tight-knit and most helpful community. I have not yet run into anybody that has been, what's the word I'm looking for, holier than thou, I suppose. You know, somebody that has all the knowledge and they spew the fact that they have all the knowledge and they don't share it freely. It's like, well, you know, I've been in groups involved where you say, well, can you tell me how to do this? And they say, well, no, go out and learn it. That's what I had to do. But this community doesn't do that. We all scratch each other's backs, and it's phenomenal. That's why I want to go to an ERF or a MRF and meet some of these guys, meet some of you guys. So you are excited and worried with this storm. It may push back, but tomorrow is the delivery day for you. Oh no. Hopefully you get it. Your first, that's going to be your first printer, Shadowfang? Awesome. You're going to like that printer. Don't do any mods right away. Nope. This is the only one of the 3 printers I've got. This is the only one I modded. Well, I won't say don't do any mods. The one thing I would suggest when you get that printer to make life easy for you, and it's not really a mod. I'm not going to call this a mod. It's going to come with, let me find it. Okay, here we go. The bed of your printer is going to come with springs that look like this. Okay. And which will work. Okay. I always suggest to people, you can get these on Amazon, to replace these springs with these springs. These springs are much tighter. Like, I'm pushing on this one fairly easy. I'm pushing on this one. Oops, sorry, that just bounced on my hand. A lot harder. So these will work. When you go to level your bed, these will work. But these will, if you bump your knob, if you bump your printer, these have a tendency not to hold your level as tight as these do. And then the idea is you want to have these compressed pretty good, maybe 3/4 of the way compressed, and then level your bed based on that. And then basically it won't go anywhere. I had to re-level this one because I put a new hot end on it and I've been moving it around. I have bumped the leveling knobs. But that's the one thing I do suggest to people is just replace those springs. These are cheap on Amazon, these yellow springs. So that's just my suggestion. But otherwise, don't do any mods and just get used to it. So I still have one of the 3 I got. I have one that I haven't touched. It still has the silver springs on it and it's printing fine. I've just had to level it a little bit more. But it works fine. And then I put springs on the other 2. This one here, if I get my close-up camera down here, you'll see that I put the yellow springs on it. Oh, focus here. They're fairly tightly compressed. Oh, you can see that back one there. And I did just because I have them. I have these aluminum leveling knobs I just put on there just because they're kind of cool. I wish they were blue to match the rest of the printer. But yeah, but you'll see how tightly I have those springs compressed. So what I ended up doing was lowering the Z-stop sensor a little bit so that I could lower my, tighten those springs up and keep them as compressed as possible. That way these, I mean, I'm wiggling that and that does not move easily, and you don't want that to move easy because with the other springs, and if they're too loose, the slightest vibration can cause that to turn and it will bring your bed out of level. So yeah, that's just one tip that I recommend to people. Let's see how that print is going. Look at that, we have a print going. So Yeah, as Yanni says there, I agree. The stock springs give; they seem to soften over time. They do. They're putting cheap springs in there. So, oh, you have those springs. Good, good. Shadow Fang, awesome. Yeah. The excitement of the first printer. Yes, I remember my first printer was a CR20S Pro. I've still got the first print. Here, let me go back here. I still got the first print I did on it. It's at my office right now, but it was a white dog. And then the first thing I ever printed was a golf tee because my business partner's into golf. So I said, let's print a golf tee. And I was so excited and blah, blah. And then, but as I got more and I learned more and I bought a couple different printers, I realized had I known then what I know now, my first printer would have been an Ender 3, hands down. That's why I tell people when they say, what should I get? It's going to be my first one. I'll say, get an Ender 3 V2. I've had great success with them. It's a great printer to learn on. It's got some really good features. Manual leveling, I don't think is a bad thing to get for a first printer. Yes, the probe leveling with the BL Touches and the Pidna probes, etc., are good. The way the CR6 SE levels is pretty decent with the pressure. I just call it a pressure probe. I know there's an official name on it. It's great, but I like the fact that I learned to levelly manual the bed first. So basically I learned to walk before I flew. So I think if you can manually level a bed, it'll do well. It's fine. It gives you on this printer, it gives you the baby stepping option as well, so you can fine tune your Z height. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with getting that. That's a great first printer. Yeah, and John says, yeah, you'll progress to the point where you'll put an ABL on all your printers, then you'll remove the springs and print solid mounts. Yeah, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great because the ABL does good because it does allow for any variances in your bed if your bed's warped or dips or whatever. But I still think it's like learning to drive. Learn stick shift first, because if you ever have to go back to that, you know what you're doing, and you just learn the fundamentals. But yeah, manually leveling, nothing wrong with that to begin with. And you'll learn to do it by eyeball too eventually, so. Yep, manually leveling a bed and a lot of leveling practice is good. Teaches the importance of a level bed and to get in the habit of it. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I've still got the Mengda Rock 3 is a manual level. I've got my Ender 3 V2s are manual level, and the Anycubic's a manual level. So, what do I think of the reports of the Elegoo Neptune? I have not heard of the reports on the Elegoo Neptune. What is that? Is that a resin or is that a FDM printer? Your first printer was an ANET A8. You know about tweaking printers. Yes, I've heard about the ANETs. So, and the tweaking that had to be done. I got to do more on the FlashForge Creator 3. It's a great printer. I'm totally underutilizing it. I want to get, and I want to do some videos on that because there's not a lot of videos out there on that printer. I want to get a little more knowledge on it and share some videos. FDM. I have not heard of the Neptune. I will look into it. Elegoo. Okay, I have, because Elegoo is basically known for their resin printers, correct? And is this their first entry into the FDM market? Is that what it is? It'll be interesting to see. CR3 V2 can upgrade to BL Touch and other stuff later. Yep. Absolutely. CR3 V2 or Ender 3 V2? Ender 3 V2, Mark, I think you mean, yeah. You can definitely upgrade to a BL Touch. There's, on Thingiverse, you will end up getting rid of this, sort of like I just did now, but on Thingiverse, there's a lot of people there's a lot of files that for adding you can print out a BL Touch to that for a BL Touch mount. And then it's just a matter of adjusting it in your firmware. But don't worry about that to begin with, so. CR6 is your new go-to. You have one Ender 3 Pro, Anycubic Mega X, and Anycubic Delta Predator. Started with the Monoprice Mini. Yeah, the CR6 SE is an amazing printer. I did the Kickstarter, and then I also purchased one off Creality, directly from Creality for their Black Friday sale. I'll be honest, I was freaking out a little bit because the people that got there, I got mine in the later shipments. Canada seems to get their Kickstarter stuff later than most people. And I was freaking out a little bit hearing about all the issues people were having with their 6SEs. And I thought, oh well, got to deal with it when I get it. And when I get it, I'll deal with it. And I didn't have any of the issues. I think it's the loudest, you're hearing the loudest voices are the handful that do have the issues, and it's unfortunate they do, but hey, you have issues with cars. Prusa has issues with their printers going out. It's, you're mass producing these things, you're gonna have issues. Show me a product where every single unit they've put out has been perfect with no issues, and then I'll show you a flying elephant. So yeah, I think it's people will have issues. I've had an issue with my CR6 SE at my office. I just finished, actually, matter of fact, it was when I finished printing this, and then I went on to put these on the bed to print. Okay, and I have my G code set up to do my G29, my auto leveling every time. Simplify 3D sent me some really cool Stark G code for it, where anyways, long story short, but anyways, so when it was doing its leveling, nozzle comes down in the middle of the bed, just ground a little hole in the middle of my bed, my flexible bed, because I took the glass off and put a flex sheet. And I thought, what the hell? I just finished printing this successfully, and all of a sudden now my nozzle's driving into the bed. Shut off the printer, reset it, tried it again, did my auto level, grinding in the middle of the bed. And I thought, this is frustrating. So jump on Google, and what am I going to Google for? I said CR6 SE, nozzle driving into bed. Anyways, what it turned out to be, somehow a little potentiometer pop the cap off, and there's a little potentiometer on the board that drives the, the doomer thingy that the nozzle pushes up to test the pressure. Anyways, a little potentiometer on the board, and it just basically says turn it to the left until the blue light comes on, and then turn it back just until the blue light goes off. I followed those instructions, did it, boom, started up the printer, it worked fine. So somehow between printing this 14-hour print and switching over to a new print, something loosened up in there, but it was fixable. So that's the biggest issue I've had with the CR6 SE. This one here still has the glass bed on it. I can pull it out a bit here. So what's happening on this bed? I don't like this bed. Creality has an issue, in my opinion, with their beds, okay, the glass. So you'll see on this one, look at the bottom corner there. I had a print on there, it was PLA. The bed had cooled off, and you can see in the middle there as well. I have issues with this bed with getting prints off. Even after the glass, this basement's cold, even after the glass is cool, to the point where it took off some of the coating here, right here. So this is so inconsistent, because then I have a couple Ender 3s with the same glass surface, and you can blow them off basically when the strain gauge, thank you Radioactive, the strain gauge, you can blow the print off of these ones with a different piece of glass from the same, supposedly made the same way. But I've had a few of these where I've had this issue where even very well cooled off, trying to get a piece off, and boom, it just takes a piece off. So I don't like that. I know people like glass, but I don't like that kind of glass, which is why I use the flexible build plates. So that's just my preference for now. That's the only thing I don't like about this CR6 SE is that I'll still print on this glass. It'll still work, but eventually I'm going to be putting a flexible build plate on this one as well. I got a big flex plate for the Mingda Rock 3. So the Mingda This is just, I hate this. Mingda came with this build plate. Okay, you guys have all seen this if you've owned any early Creality products. This is, I'm sorry, this is crap. My buddy Richard at First Layer has contacted Mingda about this and said, what are you doing putting these crappy build plates on your good, large format printers? Because you can see when I tried to take a print off, it's a flexible build plate. You're supposed to cool it off, flex, pop off. And it's basically marred the surface permanently. Okay, these are garbage. So I've got a flexible build plate that's on this now, a BQ. I'm even sacrificing a bit of build volume because I couldn't quite get one the right size, but I'm putting a BQ build plate on it, and I'm losing about 5 millimeters total width and total height volume on it because I wanted a decent flex plate on it. So yeah. Your gloss has a low spot in the center on your Ender 3 V2. I heard a good tip today about that, Mark. What you might want to do is if you pop your glass off, just run down the middle or in the low spot if you can find it. Just throw a piece of duct tape underneath just to raise the glass that little bit. Because duct tape will handle the heat. Should handle the heat pretty good, but if you throw a piece of duct tape or something that'll handle the heat just under the glass in the area that's low, it might help just raise that glass up a little bit. Loyal, how are ya? Do not tease me like that. You have my PayPal address, so come on. How many subs do I need to get a super chat button anyways? But yeah, so flexible build plates, that's why I like them. But then I want to try getting a piece of the fireplace glass and just using an adhesive. I have some Magigoo right here. I've used the Magigoo before on glass. I like it. I think that would work really well on fireplace glass, so I may try that one day. So, but as I say, I'm happy with the flex plates for now. We will see. We will see. 1,000 subs for my super chat button. I'll get there. Summertime. My goal is 1,000 by summer. I'd like to get 500 by the end of, we're in February. I'm hoping end of March, April sometime to hit that 500 magic mark. We'll see. Because I do want to do a giveaway. You're going to try your new flex plate on the next print. You'll like it. Just don't forget, you got to re-level. And with a flex plate, Mark, you're going to have a fair difference in the height of your build plate. When you take the glass off and put the magnet and the flex plate on, you're going to want to lower your sensor on the side. So right over here, let me see if I can get a close-up of this for you, just to save you a bit of grief. You probably already know this, but I'm going to tell that in case there's somebody else out here. So right on the side there, you can see that sensor right there. That's your Z-stop sensor. Okay. So on the bottom of this sensor down here, when this printer is new, there's a little tab that will sort of prevent this sensor from going so low. There's 2 screws over here that you would loosen to raise or lower the sensor, but there's a little tab that'll prevent it from going so low. But you can take your nippers and just chop that tab off, and then that'll give you freedom of play up and down from that sensor. So much more play in that sensor. So when you put your flexible bed on, like I did on this one, you're going to be a lot thinner than your glass in total thickness. So what's going to happen if you don't lower that sensor, you're going to end up loosening these springs too much in order for your bed to get higher to hit the nozzle. So you want to lower that sensor. It's going to take a couple trial and error go arounds. Lower the sensor just a little bit. Do your homing, see how far from your bed your nozzle is, okay? And if you can level your bed where the nozzle is without loosening your springs too much, you're good. If there's like a 2 millimeter gap or even a 1.5 millimeter gap, you want to stop, lower that sensor again a little bit more, home your nozzle again, and then see what that gap is. And basically the idea is don't loosen those springs up too much. Loosen them as little as you have to keep the tension in those springs. So you probably already knew that, but I just thought I'd give you that little reminder out there. And just in case anybody else is listening and doing that, I don't like the look of that. Look at the ghosting. Anyways, we're going to worry about that after. Anyway, yeah, that print is working so far. I think I have a cooling issue, but we'll see. Worry about that later. But anyways, that's my advice on the when you put that flex plate on. You've spent $10K on Twitch bits in the last month. Wow. I don't even know what a Twitch bit is. What is a Twitch bit? What's a bitch twit? What's a Twitch bit? So anybody who's been late to my stream, which is good, and I'm not going to point any names out, I'm so glad you're here. Twitch followers. Is Twitch sort of like YouTube for Twitter? I've heard of Twitch a lot. Would that make me a Dwit Twitch? That's just going to be too hard to say. Or Twitch Dwit. Hello, Ryan. Anyways, if you're late to my stream, I have started printing droid parts. Woo! For the big droid build. Lots of droid parts. So I'm excited to have a radio-controlled droid. Twitch is a streaming platform. And they have their own currency. Oh, okay. And obviously they're called Twitch bits. Twitch. So is Twitch trying to take over for... Now, can you simultaneously broadcast Twitch and YouTube? I know you can Facebook and YouTube. So I guess I got to learn all this stuff. But, yeah. Twitch bit from your favorite movie. A twitchy dwit. A twitchy dwit. I'm going to have a quick peek at this. I have a feeling I need to play with cooling fan a little bit. Or just, did I tighten that belt after? Let me see. Oh, that belt might be too tight. Because that print's not looking as good as the original print from the factory head. So we'll see. Although those bridges look pretty good. But if I put this little one up here next to that, here, let's see if I can do this. But if you guys look at this one, okay, check out that one. Here, I'll just put that right there. And we'll focus on that. And then we look at what's going on here. Although it's hard to tell. It doesn't look as clean. Whoops. Don't hit the fan with it. Shit hit the fan there. So there's old print head, new print head. Yeah, I think there's some cooling issues going on with this new print head. But again, that's something that needs to be worked on. Dwitch. Dwitch. Twitch. Dwit and Twitch. Dwitch. I like that. You can multi-stream, but they demonetize you if they catch you? Really? Really? I think I'll just stick to YouTube for now. So Twitch was started for streaming people playing video games. It has expanded since then. It's better than YouTube, you think? Huh. Interesting. I've never seen it. I've never looked at it. I'll have to have a look and see. I will have to look and see. YouTube doesn't like it when you, obviously, when you multiple stream. Ryan Thorpe hates Star Wars? Favorite movie of all times? Yeah, it's good. And Loyal doesn't like comic stuff. I haven't read a comic since the Archie days. Archie and Beetle Bailey. Who remembers Beetle Bailey? They don't want you to make money elsewhere at the same time. It's kind of petty. I agree. Oh, where's my water? My water. I got a tiny little water bottle. YouTube is more professional. Okay, well, I'm a professional kind of guy, so I guess I better stick to YouTube. Hey, I've worked this hard building almost 500 subscribers on YouTube. I'm not going to abandon it yet. I'm not going to abandon it or jeopardize it. I enjoy it. Boom and a boom boom. Okay, testing 1 2, testing. I just turned up the gain on my mic a little. If I seem to go silent there for a moment. Although there's some questionable content on Twitch, pool streams, etc., but I guess the diversity is good. Well, you know, I look at it and say, I've never looked at it. I don't know what it's about, but I hear this and I wonder, will Twitch last? Are they trying to do what YouTube is doing, and will YouTube let it? Okay, YouTube is Google. Okay, will they eventually get bought out by? Well, mind you, Twitch is Twitter, which is Facebook. Wow. I don't know. Whatever happened to what was the other social media platform that came along before Facebook? What was that called? I forget. Anyways, it didn't last. Wow. Twitch is owned by Amazon. They'll last as long as they want. Well, yeah, maybe. But they got to get people to go over. MySpace. Thank you, Ryan. That's the one I was thinking of. MySpace went the way of the dodo bird. Oh, look, we're on the overhang section now, but I'm going to call this in about 10 minutes or so. I don't want to, I was only keeping these as 2-hour streams, and now we're at a 2.5-hour stream, but I have, well, 17 people, so some folks have dropped off. Hey, what, Loyal, you came on and people just dropped off. What's going on? And I only have 20 likes. Come on. That's all right. I need to play every once in a while. I need to play a video. You guys keep chatting. Yeah, Loyal could start his own platform. Yes. 100,000 viewers in the stream. Yeah, but are those gamers? Are those gamers that are getting those kind of numbers, BCK, Brian? Gamers are crazy. Well, in a good way. I mean, I'm not down. I'm not bad talking gamers at all. I'm not a gamer, but man, when they get followers, they get followers. Wow. What, 100,000 viewers in a stream? Imagine keeping up with that chat. Imagine doing a giveaway with that many. Wow. That's crazy. Whoops. Something happened there. What happened there? Oh. Whoa. You guys don't want to look at me. What was I doing? I was on this camera. There we go. There we go. I know what I did wrong. I got to go to this. Aha. Aha. And then go to this. See? You guys don't know what I'm doing behind the scenes. Okay, Matt. Take care. Thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. People are dropping like flies here, so that's okay. It's getting late. We're going on 2.5 hours here. I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. I just have to find one thing. Let's see if I can find it. See if there's anybody left when I do find it. I don't. Let's see. Clickbait thumbnail for the DeWitt Gaming channel live stream. See if you get a bunch. I'll try that. 180,000 people in chat playing Among Us. Wow. Clickbait. That'd be funny. Piss a lot of people off, but that'd be funny. NASCAR is on, you're good for another hour. I won't be up that long. Although it is a holiday here tomorrow, I can sleep in a little bit. I have a couple things to do, but I do get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow. I am trying to find my little advertisement here. No, no. Nope, it's not there. That's okay. You guys just keep talking among yourselves while I look for something. Although I have a feeling I'm not going to find it. Although I might find it on... No, I don't have my jump drive with me. Hold on a second. Okay, so... I still have to get a Discord. Are you talking about me, Shadowfang? A Discord for me? Because, well, let's see if you're talking about me first, if you think I should get a Discord. What the heck is Discord? What is Discord? Like, are we speaking Discord? Like, as in Discord? Or Datcord? I don't know what Discord... I've seen Discord. I've gone on to Discord. I've signed up for Discords. But I have no idea what Discord is for. It's sort of like a chat room. Is that correct? Like a chat room? Because you always talk about people saying, let's go to Discord after this stream. No, the sleeping in thing for me, Mark, on the weekend is the dog. Okay, so Discord's sort of like a chat room, so it's like a green room, I suppose. I guess, for lack of better description, possibly like a green room. I'll have to maybe look into that and see. Everybody's on the Discord wagon, and I kind of feel like I'm missing out on something because I'm not on I don't have a Discord. I've signed up for Discords. I don't know what I'm doing when I sign up for a Discord. So, yeah. Oh, I know what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is on my laptop, and I don't have my laptop handy right now, so I'm not even going to bother looking for it. What's terrible, Loyal? Discord? It's a bit like Slack, if you know what Slack is. I can slack off. Don't know exactly what Slack is. It's a bit like Teams, if you know what that is. Microsoft Teams. Never used it. My business is too small. Discord is pretty neat. Loyal says it's terrible. Brandon says it's neat. Marcus says it's a bit like Slack. And Yanni says it's a bit like Teams. Now, if I was confused before, imagine now. So this little guy, is still printing. I don't think that is... Let me take one more look on the close-up cam here. I don't like the quality of that compared to what I got here, but... Okay, two things. You can see on the front here, it's not the best. That could be my angle, could be the filament. The overhangs are going to be a little bit of a tell, but you can see, so right here, can I get this in here? You can see these towers are awful looking. Okay, I think I had this belt too tight to begin with, but that's okay. I think the main thing is here cooling. It's a much different cooling fan system than I had on the original nozzle. I think I have to tweak the cooling for sure before I can make any judgment call on this. The bridging, with the cooling the way it is, it's hard to see how the bridging worked in here, but the bridging looked like it worked fine, which wouldn't surprise me because if I have this cooling going too much. And then also, this is that second layer right here, right along here. You can see that, I call it like a zipper seam. That's where that second layer went down, and that cooling fan kicked in at 100%. And it is a much, much more powerful fan than the original stock fan on this printer. So, I think I need to dial in the cooling a little bit before I can give this hot end a fair shake. So, the hot end's working. The hot end's working, which is great. It's hooked up, it's working, it's extruding filament just fine. But I think it's cooling too much. I'm going to have to play with that. I'm going to read a little bit more about it, see if I have to adjust anything in the firmware to tell it what kind of a fan this is. and work on this and try and get a little better results on my print. But I am 99% sure that the issue I'm having with the quality on that print is cooling. So, oh, I can get a little closer here by popping that off and going like that. There we go. Yeah. So there we go. That's a better look right there. You can see those towers are just not as clean as they should be. So yeah, we're going to play with the cooling on this, even right here. Even right in here on the bottom here, you can see. So we're going to play with that and see if we can't figure that out. What am I missing? All hail what king? That is the Dragonfly, Brandon, yes. And it's a great hot end. I've heard nothing but good about the hot end, so I'm not blaming the hot end on the fact that I'm getting a poorer quality print than with the stock hot end. I'm blaming the fact that I put, if you look up here, whoops. So there is, because I had to put this new whole fan shroud assembly on there, there is the fan that came off of the original setup compared to the fan that's on there now. This fan that's on there now is blowing a hell of a lot more air, number one, and it's cooling from both sides, number two. So that's quite a bit different setup that way. So I believe that I'm going to have to adjust that fan output for the prints on this thing, because I'm convinced that the issues I'm seeing there are cooling issues. So, at least I hope so. So, anyways, in my limited knowledge, that is my assessment of what's happening there. Okay, it's easy. Take everything everyone else said and throw it out and keep mine. What are we talking about? I've missed something here. Oh, okay, you don't have to do anything for fans and firmware. That's why you have PID. Okay, very cool. I will do a PID tune on this for sure, see if that makes a difference, but I think I do also have to slow that fan down when I'm printing. Possibly. Again, learning as I go. You need to change out the hot end fan on your Ender 3. Sounds like a jet engine. This one's pretty loud. If I take this off, hang on. Sorry about that cut. What the other one was that I had on there, so it's definitely pushing out a lot more air. But hey, that's what this is all about, learning. The Pruses are incredibly quiet. I have to check to make sure they're still running half the time. So I haven't had a chance to use my overhead camera today. Look at that, there's my overhead view of my messy desk. Woohoo! Well, let's put this back on. There we go. There we go. And build camera that way. Look at that. That fun camera. Anyways, guys, I don't want to interrupt the chat. Marcus, you're going to bed, and that's good. I think I'm going to wrap this up. This is going to finish printing. I'm sure the overhangs are going to be fine. I'm just not happy with the quality or the cleanliness of that print. As I say, I'll do a PID tune, as Yanni said, has suggested. And yeah, I will have this print ready for my next stream, and I'll show you guys how this all turned out. But I'm going to do some playing this week with the PID tuning, with the cooling fan, and just see try some different speeds, do a little bit of research and see what I have to maybe change as far as how fast this fan is going to go. I can change it when I slice the file, so in the G code, easy enough. Anyways, we're going to call it for tonight. I thank everybody who stayed on and who's still here. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has learned a little bit something, if not about 3D printing, about me and about my studio. So I did that little tour earlier. If you missed it, rewind and have a look at it. So stay tuned next week. I don't know what's happening for next week's stream yet, but I will be. I'll show the progress that I make on my Droid next week. Whatever progress I've made, I will show off on here for sure, and I'll share whatever I've learned. But like as always, next week's stream is bound to be a little bit exciting. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me tonight. Everybody have a wonderful evening. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do. I would appreciate it. The closer we get to 500, I do want to do a giveaway. I've got to contact some people. I want to give away a few things. I don't know what yet, but we'll see. I'll see what I can do as far as some of the companies that may throw some stuff in. But I want to talk to some people who have done this before to get some advice on how to approach these companies. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I want to do 500 is a huge, huge thing for me. I'm so grateful to be where I am right now, and it's all because of all you guys. And I really, really appreciate that. So, and then as I say, by the summer, even the end of the year, if I can get to 1,000 by the end of 2021, like, wow, that would be incredible. It just means that I'm doing something right. And that just speaks volumes to me. I appreciate everybody's time. I do have a new exiting my stream phrase that I want to share with you guys. It's going to be corny or it's going to be cool. So anyways, everybody have a wonderful week. We will talk to everybody later, and oops, I just had to look and see which button I have to push here when I end my stream. But everybody have a great night, wonderful week. Thank you for joining me. I want to remind you guys, keep a level head, and whatever you do, keep a level bed.